I'm Rachel Perkins, and back in 1999, I set up the first IPS service in the UK with Miles Rinaldi. But more recently, I chaired a working party for IPS Grow on valuing and using personal experience in IPS practice. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. You see, as well as our professional experience and expertise, IPS practitioners bring lots of valuable personal experience to their work. And if we're going to benefit from this personal experience and make use of it, we have to think about how to use it appropriately. There can't be any absolute rules about using our personal experience at work. We've got to make judgments. And these judgments must ultimately be guided by the purpose of our relationships with our clients and with our colleagues. And the purpose is to help them to get a job. The first important thing is preparation. Each of us needs to think in advance about what we feel able to share with our clients and colleagues, because once you've shared something, you can't unshare it. We can't assume that people are going to keep secrets. Once you've shared something with one colleague or one client, you can't assume they're going to keep it to themselves. It's reasonable to expect that everyone will share something of their personal experience at work, but I guess each of us must make decisions about what we feel able to share. Some things are just going to be too raw, too personal to share with anyone other than our nearest and dearest. We must also think about how and how much of this experience we share. For example, I think many of us will have experienced the breakup of a relationship and the impact this had on our life and work. This experience may be useful in understanding the experience of a client or a colleague who's going through something similar. But we need to think about how much of the detail we share and how we frame it. If we share too much of the gory details, we risk leaving ourselves very exposed and vulnerable, or burdening our client or colleague with just too much information. While it may be important to share something of the gravity of what happened, if we only share how terrible the experience was and how awful it was, without actually talking about how we tried to cope and move forward, we risk making our client or our colleague feel even more hopeless. And we actually it may have a negative impact on the way they see us. They may perceive us as vulnerable, unable to cope, untrustworthy. So in terms of preparation, we need to think about what personal experiences have I got that might be helpful in my IPS practice? Which of these do I feel comfortable about sharing with my colleagues to inform their work, with the people I support to help them to gain and prosper in a job? How am I going to present this experience, and how much detail am I willing to share with colleagues or with people I support? It's also worth thinking about what I'm not prepared to share. And finally, it's actually really important to think about what we put on social media. Social media is potentially public information and could be available to our clients and our colleagues. So beware social media. It's part of our public persona. I suppose after thinking about preparation, we need to think about how to make decisions in individual interactions about what to share. Now, sharing small things about ourselves sets the groundwork for all individual interactions, all relationships within or outside work. We get to know people and build a rapport by taking an interest in the person and giving something of ourselves. This might be something as basic as, I hope the storm last night didn't do too much damage where you live. My street was all right, but in the next street, a tree came down. But I guess if we move beyond ordinary, inconsequential experiences that can be so important in building relationships, there can't really be a formula about what to share. Individuals and situations differ. So we need to think about what we can usefully share, when, with whom, how much, and most especially, why are we sharing this experience? What are the possible benefits and risks attached? and the warning signs that we might be tempted to share too much. Positive reasons for sharing personal experience with a client or our colleague include things like normalizing or demystifying the person's concerns and feelings, sharing learning, discussing different ways of coping with things, offering hope, reassurance, strengthening our relationship, helping someone to feel better about themselves or their situation, and encouraging them to talk more openly about their concerns and their challenges. But on the other hand, the reasons why it might not be helpful to share personal experience with a client or with a colleague are if I am the only person who benefits. Maybe I'm sharing it to feel competent or to be liked. Might it take the attention away, the focus of the conversation away from the person and make it focus on me? Might it make the person envious of me? Am I being competitive with the person? Might it cause confusion about the nature of our relationship? Am I telling this person what to do rather than offering examples and helping them to make up their own mind? We should never assume, you see, that our way of dealing with a situation is the best way or the only way, simply one of a range of options. So we might say something like, I did X. I know other people have found Y or Z helpful. Have you had any thoughts about what might be helpful? I guess we've also, though, got to be aware of the warning signs that we might be tempted to share too much information. Am I developing inappropriate feelings for the person? Am I giving them preferential treatment? Am I asking them to keep secrets for me? Am I ignoring team policies and procedures? And particularly with clients, am I frequently thinking about them outside work or wanting to spend time with them outside work? Am I feeling that other team members just don't understand them? Do they only want to speak with me and not with any other members of the team? And am I giving away personal contact information? Not a good idea. Really confuses the nature of relationships. We also need to think about the timing of sharing personal information in terms of our relationship with that client or colleague. Do I feel comfortable in discussing this right now? Are they in the right place to hear this today? Is there space and time to deal with any possible conversation that might arise, or will I just leave issues hanging? And it's generally sensible to avoid saying, I know what you mean. You see, no two experiences are the same. Individuals and circumstances differ. No one can ever fully understand the impact of an event on someone else. It's usually preferable to say something, I don't know what it was like for you, but when I got turned down for a job, I felt completely incompetent and useless. Finally, just as it's wise to reflect on our professional judgments and interventions that we've done, it's also wise to reflect on our sharing of personal experience and how that's gone. What impact did it have on the person with whom I shared it, on me, on our relationship? Did it actually help them in the process of getting a job or keeping a job? How did the sharing the personal experience feel at the time? And how does it feel now? And what did I learn from sharing? Even do I want to, or would it be useful to share this learning with the team? In the whole process of sharing and using our personal experience at work, supervision can be critical. The whole supervisory experience should be one that fosters mutual learning in which both supervisor and supervisee share their experience. And supervisors can help their supervisees to explore the personal experience they bring to their work, help them to discuss what they feel able to share, how they might share it, what might be the relevant policies or procedures governing their work, and to reflect on and learn from using personal experience. IPS Grow have developed a briefing paper called Valuing and Using Personal Experience in IPS Practice, where we go into all of these things in more detail. Hopefully, we'll also be developing webinars and training to explore the issues further. But just to finish off with, we must remember that none of us get it right every time. But if we leave our personal experience at the door when we come to work in IPS, the authenticity and humanity of our relationships at work is reduced and very valuable expertise and experience is lost. Thank you.